Or not.
Let's just start the show.
There we go. What's up?
UX Weekly. UX Weekly.
It's the new intro.
It's the new theme song.
Okay, well, I'm going to have
You're welcome.
I don't even need to edit that. I just have to, cut that one part out, put it at the beginning. What's up, man?
Yeah, we just need, we need a little beat. Howdy. I got my Golden Girls on today.
I saw that. R.I.P. to the whole squad.
I know. She's so short.
I was wondering. I saw it and I was like, why is it missing the remaining, most influential character? By the way, I know that this has nothing to do with anything we should be talking about, but there's a documentary on Betty White. Have you seen it?
No.
Dude,
but
I know she was funny.
I'll watch it,
and
though.
she was like, I just thought she was a badass because she was funny and all that. But that wasn't the last. Betty's up there on the top right. Never mind. I'm thinking of the old granny was missing.
Betty's here. Yeah.
Dude, she was a total badass early in her career, pushing the limits of women in television. And I don't know. I just didn't know all this about her. I didn't know that. I just knew her from Golden Girls because that's where we first saw her when we were growing up. But you should definitely check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix or something.
I would literally say it's totally random, and we'll just keep talking about it.
It's fine. Keep going. We're going to quit saying that. People are just going to need to know that we're going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
From here on out.
I really do think that this show almost is a huge part of my personality.
Okay.
So
you're Blanche.
My grandma.
Okay.
Used to. This you got to remember too. We're 80s babies,
mm-hmm.
and not to mention 80s babies, but I was a poor 80s baby, so we only had 3 channels to watch during the day.
That was most 80s babies. I mean, and there wasn't
my point
big of a gap either. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, my point is, I used to watch this with my grandma.
Okay.
My extremely Mexican grandma.
Mine wasn't extremely Mexican, but
and then my mom is also the most extreme smartass person on the planet. And so you combine me learning all of this smartassness as a very young child, and then my mom with adding to it with even extra smartass to my face. So it's it's just ingrained in me to be as smartass as possible to so much so that the team I work with, we're kind of all over the place
mm-hmm.
globally. And I found out that apparently, because I love British humor, it was one of the things with me and my mom was different. We used to watch, a ton of British comedies and stuff. And I found out that a lot of the British guys on our team do not understand sarcasm.
Interesting.
And so
I would have thought
they'll
they
make
were
a joke.
ultra sarcastic. I thought that was kind of British humor.
I had to have a meeting about it. Okay, because someone would say something, they were like, hey, I went ahead and made some design. I changed the design here on this Word document. I hope that's okay. And I'd respond in Slack. I'd be like, yeah, I guess that's not our job anymore. I guess you could do it. Just totally fucking around. I totally didn't care. And they'd be so apologetic and oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And this happened multiple times.
Who initiated the meeting?
Me.
Oh, good.
I was I'm going to call you right now because we need to talk about something. And they're like, dude, I'm serious. I'm so sorry. I was like, no, you are missing the point. I was like, listen, you have to assume that 99% of the things that come out of my mouth, I am being a smart ass and I'm joking. There'll be 1% where I'm being serious, but that is so rare that you will know that it's going to, I'm being serious. Anytime I'm posting something as a response to something that's getting done, I'm joking. Because I'm trying to keep it fresh and keep it happy. I'm never going to be fuck you, Dave.
There's this, so I like to do some of the same shit. Probably not as much as you, but what I always think is this gray space is when you're actually serious, but you still want to make the joke because it's totally okay. You're like, no, that's fine. We'll do that. We'll start. But you're actually kind of serious. It's a joke with truth behind it, but there's no it's not a big deal. But I guess that's when it gets hard to They're like, oh shit. You're like, no, it's okay. I mean, yes, I do want you to like fucking like get that shit done, but I get it. We're all fucking swamped or something. You know what I'm saying?
Have you watched that show Succession?
No, but I hear about it twice a day.
Oh my God. Okay. So it's like, it's a great show, but totally separate from you. Just like you saying that there's this, the oldest son or whatever, or I don't think he's oldest, the guy that's like, he's part of the drama. He'll always be like, no, I'm totally kidding. Or am I?
Yeah.
No, seriously. I'm kidding, man. Or am I? You know, like so like he literally fucks with your emotions where he's like, no, everything's cool. Or is it?
Well, I guess I've been on the receiving end of that before, where you get usually, I don't know, it feels like it's pretty obvious, but it's like, no, that's fine. You're like, is it? So many, like, there's a book called The 48 Laws of Power or something like that. And it goes through like a lot of these different types of things, but it's like how you talk to people. Oh, I listened to this podcast the other day where it talks about these guys that are, I don't know if they're CIA or FBI or something. And it's like the biggest thing that they had well, I wouldn't say the biggest thing, but one of the things that's really important to them is just shutting the fuck up all the time. And so the guy on the podcast was talking about how most people like to fill dead space. And we know that, like, it can be difficult when everybody's talking, you're talking back and forth, and there's dead space. People just feel like, well, I mean, they just want to jump in and start adding bullshit. And these CIA guys, if I have it correctly, whatever, intelligence guys, basically were like, yeah, everybody does that. So you just don't talk and you let there be dead space. And then they just keep telling you shit, and they tell you more shit. And before you know it, you've got so much information on them simply because they felt awkward about dead space, the white space. Yeah.
My wife's obsessed with all those crime shows and all that kind of stuff. And she used to literally, like, there's this one show that I hate so much that her and my buddy Shane used to just watch religiously called Last 48 Hours or Last 48.
With Kiefer Sutherland, I think. No.
No.
No. This is like
I know what you're talking about. This is like real life.
Basically, they were like, if you can't find this person within 48 hours, they're gone. They're dead.
Or solve the crime.
Right.
Yeah, if you can't, or solve the crime in the first 48. There you go. Something like that. And that's the whole thing. Like, it's basically just a bunch of them interviewing people.
Right.
And just sticking them in a room. And half the time, they're not even in the room. There's just a camera. And the person's just freaking out, going, oh my God, they're going to kill me. Oh, like just like freaking out in the room. And they're just sitting there watching the video. Like, you don't even have to like create an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Just put someone in an awkward space. And they just like freak out and want to tell you all the things, So anyway, and all of that has to do with design.
Hey, but I think actually there's a lot of takeaways from that, especially like when you're, developing yourself, developing your career. I mean, you and I have worked with some serious like alphas that will pull these techniques on you. And there's two things really. It's like, one, just being aware of it. So like, you started a new company, you start to move up, you start getting in front of, folks that are grilling you or whatever, and they may not necessarily be grilling you. What they're trying to do is, I think it's important to understand that a lot of times what they're trying to do is like make sure the company succeeds, and it's hard for everybody. People can't communicate well. It's just a general thing that people communicate poorly. And so what they're trying to do is get this information. They're trying to, they're also trying to get you sometimes to like state the obvious. I mean, you kind of alluded to it before, but it's like, how long is that going to take you? This would be the perfect scenario for what we're talking about. How long is that going to take you? That should take me about a week. And then silence. And they'll be like, well, I don't know. I could probably get it done in 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have done the opposite. Like, well, actually, 2 weeks.
Yeah, because
it's going to take me a lot longer. You're an expert.
Oh, hey, one thing I did learn, and this is like giving away secrets that I think are super valuable, but a lot of times, whether it's your manager or whoever it is that you shoot, it could even be you and I, but like you get me, you're like, hey, when can you? Or no, you basically tell them, hey, cool, can you have that done in 2 days? Or even just saying, yeah, no, it's even saying, when can you have that done? and getting you to say something on the spot when you haven't had the time to actually consider everything, especially as the designer, when you're like, in what's in your head is like these 5 screens, we'll just say. But as we all know, those 5 screens have like freaking potentially hundreds of permutations that you have to think through. You may even realize that the 5 screens should be 10, or maybe it's 3, but there's all these different modules. You can't think that through just in that 10 seconds of like, do you think you can have that done by the end of the week? You're like, yeah. So the most important, like not most, I keep saying most, but an important rule to keep in mind is you don't have to answer on the spot, or you should try not to. So what you should say is, yeah, that's interesting. Let me get back to you. Let me put some thought into that and get back to you. Because that's the truth. You need to put some thought into it, some actual thought. Otherwise, what happens is you commit to it and then you don't get it done. And then guess what? They have the advantage because you already committed and missed your commitment. Now it's, they're basically doing you a favor by allowing you to like not work nights and weekends or not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you're the one who fucked up.
Totally.
When really, you didn't fuck up. Where you fucked up was by letting them pressure you into making a time commitment.
100%. No, I mean, that happens to us all the time. That's why we have 2 sessions, right? We have there's a session of here's what we need to get done. And then after that, there's a whole session of like writing stories and like tasks and like what goes into each little thing. And we do that as a team, not just with designers, but with design and development, front end and back end, so that we all see all the little pieces. And then so a lot of times too, even the development team will be like, oh, don't forget, we're going to need statuses, so like error messaging and success and forgot password and blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, oh shit, I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah. And so that's a good way to work together.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get maybe it's the project manager or something or sometimes it's just that person that's trying to get you to commit to something.
Or a client or something. There's always somebody that's going to try to get
that's a good one.
Answer.
Like especially when you have a client
because they want it now because it's billable and I want it faster and cheaper.
Right. Especially when you get those like sort of industry consultant types that are like they all like kind of they all act like lawyers. It's like
the most and the all of them, and like, man, you're just putting everybody in a box.
Well, man, that's just what
you know.
What
so here's the thing. You did a really good job of pulling it from TV shows back into like design.
Thanks, bro.
And so that was really nice.
Thanks, man.
But I want to tell you about another TV show.
Wait, okay, good. Let's move into another TV show. But first, do you pronounce it statuses?
No, when it came out of my mouth, it sounded so weird. I just didn't want to like repeat it, like correct myself. Okay. So I just kept going.
Because you know how sometimes
I was hoping nobody would know. It's like the data and
that's a good one. What do you say?
Data.
Yeah, me too.
Data.
What
do I say? Data driven. Data. I say data.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But sometimes there are those words and it doesn't even mean that you're like, British or whatever. It doesn't even mean you're from a different part of the world. There are some words that people just like pronounce differently. And when you hear it, you're like,
acronyms that people do differently.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So like we're going into UAT. We have one guy that says UAT, and then there's iOS, and we like our CTO says iOS.
What? Nobody says that.
Yeah, and so like no, but it's like everybody's different. Like I feel like
you say
that's what I mean. Like you learned it, and then you just stick with it.
Oh, dude, I got one for you. Opossum.
Opossum.
Opossum. Do you know what a possum?
What is that?
Possum.
I know what a
okay, we apparently grew up in the same area or something because it's called an opossum. It's actually called an opossum. Yeah. And I kept hearing, I heard more than one person say it, and I was like, what the fuck? What are these people talking about? And then I go look it up, and it's actually opossum.
Yeah, but we're from the South.
Maybe that's what it is. It's a southern thing. Yeah, you see a possum out there?
Like, when people sneeze and they say bless you, I don't. I say bless you. Bless you.
Bless you. Bless. Oh.
Bless you.
Now, on that one, I don't know what I say. All right, we may be taking this too far, but I like it.
Anyway,
Okay.
so there's another show, but I want to tell you about.
Okay.
All right, but it's actually based on a real person, and it's really fucking awesome. I wish it was still on TV, but it's not.
Okay.
It's called Lie to Me, and
I've heard
this
of
actually
this.
does actually go into like what we were talking about around research and things like that. So the whole premise is about a real guy who wrote a book where he broke down every facial feature in your body and how it reacts to when you're asked a question, or like when you're doing certain things, or when you have certain feelings. And the whole idea is that you actually can't control a lot of the muscles in your face.
That's crazy.
And so someone can tell, like when they ask you a question, or if you're angry, or if you did the crime or whatever, just by your face without words.
I hate that.
And so that's what the whole show is. It's like this one like lab scientist group gets contracted by like the FBI or the police or whatever to help them like figure out if somebody's lying. And like this one guy who, you know, is
he the guy that
Roth, Ed Roth, or what's something Roth?
He's not the guy that came and talked to you guys, is he?
No.
Oh, that's the actor you're talking about right now.
Actor. Yeah, that's the actor. I don't know who actually wrote the book or did all that stuff, but I love that show. It's so cool. But it's one of those things too, because it's like when you do research, like we talked about, a lot of times people just feel bad. They don't know what they're doing, or like they don't know what you want. They think they just are there like they're your grandma, and they just want to tell you you're great and you're a superstar and you can be anything you want to be. When really you're like, no, I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing work. You know, please
that's
tell me
funny.
what's wrong.
But
like when they're like, it's great, I love it, but like their face is doing something really horrible, you're like, oh, okay, you hate this.
I literally
let's
just
try to
went
dig
through
into that more.
Did a little, help this team do a little user test, and everybody was like, yeah, that's cool. But it was so obvious in their face that I was like, cool. So what do you do now? You know, it's like, what was good about it? And like, well, I mean, like, you know, it was cool.
The font was
like,
nice.
And they don't even always give you that. You can't always get them back. You can't always get them to tell you like, okay, yeah, I just didn't understand what I was doing. But you at least got enough to go like, okay, they weren't convinced. They're never going to open this app up again if this is what we launch. So there's a book. You guys had this guy come talk, Chris Voss, right?
I don't remember his name, but yeah, we have like the whole CIA guy.
He wrote this book called
all about
Never Split the Difference. And it's fucking incredible. I mean, it's on Audible. It's definitely worth listening to. But yeah, that's the same kind of stuff. Like they know all these things. What I hate is that I don't plan on committing any major crimes, but what I hate is I would love the idea, you know, you want to learn stuff. Like I want to learn how to fool you, or I guess more so, it's kind of like public speaking. I want to learn not how to fucking be shitting my pants or be so nervous or my voice shiver. I used to have a problem with my voice getting real quivery if I was in a really intense situation. And I was like, I would even like, no, I'm going to be fine. But I couldn't control like this quiver. For the most part, people would say they couldn't hear it. And I'm like, really? Because to me, it was super obvious. But being able to control those types of things. And so to know there's certain things that you can't even train, like your face will just do something. You're like, face, don't do that. I have heard though of like these stories of people putting like push pins in their shoe, and then they'll go in for an interrogation, and every time they get asked something, they basically stomp on a push pin or whatever. But I think from what I heard, they also got busted. So I don't know if that worked.
I still wonder, like, I feel like lie detectors and stuff that was like super old school. You know, it was like based on heart rate.
Do they still use those?
Where if you're in a nervous situation, your heart rate's erratic. So it's like, you know what I mean? There's no
way,
steady
dude.
heart rate.
That's the one. That's the one thing that I think you can manipulate. Like that's what these.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'm saying I don't think that it's a valid lie detector test using heart rate.
I'd be pissed if
you're in a nervous situation.
Totally. Well, shit, I'd be nervous just because I'm fucking there, right? It's like people that go to the dentist or whatever, and they're like,
I watch so much TV. I like this whole theme, honestly. Like, did you watch Mad Men?
Yeah, I binged on that whenever it was, that was like 10 or 12 years ago.
But I don't know. I love like design and art history, and like the fact those first few seasons when it was all about the ads.
Yeah.
You know, and less about the drama.
I utilized
like
some of
learning
that.
about the history. Dude, learn about the history of like Jaguar and like how like they would manipulate
Jaguar
cigarette ads and like, you know, like all those. Did I say it?
No, I said it. I've heard
like
it. Well, I watched a commercial one time.
Jaguar.
No. Jaguar. Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Oh, dude, that sounded pretty sexy the way you just said it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my radio voice.
But yeah, no, I used some of that whenever. So I was watching that during the time Anthony and I started our 39 Argyle back in the day, and I would watch that. My Nicole was she was still touring a lot then, so I'd have like actually alone time pre-kid and all that. So I'd work until I was fried, and then I would just watch that, and that was it. And like I got all these I wrote down all these notes about like when I'm presenting work and all this. Like there's some really good stuff in there if you're there's some good stuff I think that you can take away to like utilize in a design as a designer, especially like presenting.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. Totally. It's like clients come in with crazy expectations and crazy goals. And it's like, especially in advertising, it's your job to like make them happy.
Yeah.
How do we do it? Dream it up right now. And then present it back to me and get me excited about
people
it.
hate the term.
It's real.
You have to sell them on your idea. You have to sell your work, and you have to
100%.
And it's not that you're trying to sell bullshit, but what they don't get to be a part of is all that work that you did to come up with this idea. And I mean, that's always a thing where you're like, this is perfect. You're like, now I have to explain it, which, it'd be nice sometimes. I don't know. I'm probably get a lot of boos, but like sometimes you just don't want to. You're like, this is good. Let's move forward. But it's an important part that you need to be able to sell the idea that you created. Not only sell it, just explain or articulate it.
I think it's equally important as the work, like the design work. I think
I'm not saying
even
it's
be more
bad. Well, okay, maybe I am a loser.
No, no. I'm saying even for my kids, like I think there's nothing more valuable than getting a sales job, even though you want nothing to do with sales.
Designers hate that typically. Grouping everybody together,
but like I think it's the most valuable thing. Like I think that there's something to, and I think back to like being a kid, like there was something, in the baseball teams, we always had to like sell candy bars to like get our new uniforms and stuff like that.
Oh, you've told me something
there is
about
something, there is something to someone slamming a door in your face a number of times to where now you're okay with it.
Yeah.
And once you're okay with it, then you're good.
Well, the thing is,
those first few times, they hurt so bad because it's like someone just ripped your heart out. Even when it's something stupid. I
don't know if this is the right way to put it. It's like sets the perspective, or like it sets the baseline, because that's also normal. Once you start selling work, especially if you're going independent and you start pitching clients that may want to hire you as an independent designer, or when you start helping your company pitch, you're not going to get most of them. You hear like it's a numbers game, and it truly is.
Yep.
Did you have a turning point whenever sales went from, being a part of sales went from like, I hate it, I'm not good, to you like it, or do you still not like it, or what was that like for you?
I did have a turning point. I couldn't tell you exactly when it is, but I think it was more of a mindset.
Totally.
Right?
I understand that.
Or for me, this is for me. When I felt I was selling something, I felt icky, but two, I felt like I don't know. It's almost like I didn't show my value, right? Mm-hmm. Versus when I don't know what made me flip the switch. Maybe it was because I started doing more stuff around VCs and like doing more startup pitches and all that kind of stuff, and like how to raise money and learning about storytelling. But when you sell in a way that you're just trying to like showcase your vision versus trying to sell somebody on a thing, like it's totally different, because then you have a mindset of like, you're going to like it or you're not. I don't care either way, because I gotta set up another meeting after this. And if like, it's totally fine if you don't love it, but I am so passionate about this thing. Let me tell you my vision.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, you're speaking from your heart, you're from your truth. Like, this is how I feel about this thing. I'm so excited about it. This is what our plan is. I'm so, I want you to come on board. Here's how I think you could help. What do you guys think? Right. And then, like, that was just you talking.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like, thank you for your meeting, guys. We have a product
totally
that I think could be really useful. And you know what I mean? Like, selling is different than telling a story about your product.
Yeah, that goes, I think, for both designers and developers. So a lot of I don't know if you are the solo sales person or if you're with a developer, how that works, but we would have a sales guy with us because he was kind of driving it because we couldn't, focus on all those numbers all the time. I would drop the ball totally. And so where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So he's kind of like coming in and queuing us up, and he'll kind of give the brief overview. And then when you're just like passionate about it and those clients see like the fucking design team loves doing the work that they do and they're exciting to talk to, and the developers love doing development and they talked about all this shit that didn't make any sense. You like get them all excited versus like, you're totally right. Like a dry monotone, like, this is what we can do, blah, 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 whatever. Huge difference. Cause you build this, like, you almost build like some trust because they're like, fuck, they fucking geek out about this thing they do. Who else would you want to do it than somebody that fucking, is that, jazzed about it?
Well, it's interesting too, right? Because like, especially in the VC world and stuff, people will always say like, we invest in the person,
right?
Not in the product.
Yeah.
And so there's something to like your energy, even if it's not even so they could hate the product and be like, but you feel it. Like, I can feel your energy. I can feel how excited you are about this thing. I can see that you love it.
Yeah.
And that could drive people over the top to now want to like do the project, or like to get you get the job. Like you brought up before too, where it's like, don't be scared to like apply for jobs that you don't meet the requirements.
Oh, totally.
Right. Because if you can get in front of them, now is your chance. Now's your time to be like, hey, I know, and you should even start with it too. Be like, hey, I know I don't meet these requirements, but here's why I think I'm perfect.
I wouldn't
for this
do that.
Job. I would call it out and get it out of the way.
Well, I mean, if it's
because
obvious,
I don't ever want it to be. Well, I mean, because I actually have many times, because I don't have a degree. And everyone's requirements.
I don't show
all
my
these huge
degree.
companies.
Oh, if you're talking
have,
about that,
everyone's requirements for applying for a job always say that they require a bachelor's in fine arts.
Is that
or
true?
Whatever and whatever.
Because none of mine.
They never have asked me. One time in my entire career have I been asked for my degree.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
Photoshopped it and I faked it and I sent that to them.
I would have done.
And
I
I
would
got
have
the
done
job.
that. That's the thing with design. Oh, you want a thing I'm supposed to have, but isn't necessary? Well, let me give you something that you want, but I shouldn't necessarily give you. So, what I actually wasn't going to say that I can't remember that. We've probably talked about this, but I've only ever applied for one job. And then all of them kind of trickled into each other or whatever, because people just see my work or whatever, or I knew somebody or something. But
you're just so amazing they had to have.
I didn't want to say that, but you know. Well, but I've never asked for that. And when we had I had somebody help me put together some job posting listings or whatever descriptions. Like we ended up getting a recruiter, and she kind of put like the typical stuff in here, and I was like, just delete all that. Like, I don't care. Like, come in, like that for me. And I think it's the same for you. You come in and you get me super excited. Oh, there's a good chance you're going to have the job. Now, can you actually do design work?
Man, this is it's going back to what we were just talking about with like pitching yourself and telling your story and doing all that. There was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, that like I was so scared of it that I didn't move forward with a job that I was so excited about because they wanted me. This is like the third round of the interview for Xbox.
You made it 2 rounds already?
Yeah. Like I had my phone interview. They liked my portfolio.
Then
now they wanted me
in person.
They wanted me to present to the entire design team.
That's pretty intimidating.
I was so scared.
How long ago was this?
It was It was when my daughter was born, so she's
Like
she's
8.
9.
Okay.
So it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I think that actually probably was like the moment that I was like, I gotta get better at this. Like I was just like, I don't even know how I got out of it.
Yeah.
Dude, public speaking was like, if it's like going up to a girl at a bar. I am not that person. Never. I do not create conversations from midair but from thin air. But like if you introduce me to anybody, I can talk to you for days, forever, and we'll be best friends. But a presentation and a talk for me was always like, I'm just going to come up here and talk. You have no clue who I am, and I've got to make you like me, and I don't know how to do it.
That's how
I'm just going to talk.
Gary Vaynerchuk started. Like, I just saw this little clip of him where he was like, he saw some guy or somebody knew he was like, because he was already known for WineLibrary.tv or whatever, which kind of gave him like he was already talking, I guess. I kind of remember that show, but basically somebody asked him to talk at this like big conference, and he was like, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. He was like, but I just did it. And like, that was like, he talked about that being like the biggest turning point in his career. He just went and talked in front of all these people, and they all rushed the stage to like, shake his hand or some shit. Well, what you were talking about, so I wondered, like, for me, there was a turning point with selling as well. So I used to not like it because I would get nervous, and I just felt like, but I think it was the same thing. I felt like I was selling, but it was when I was running that other company, and it was like, literally, I felt like the team was dependent upon me to sell this, or we might have to shut down. Then I started, we started another company. I had some guys that were actually pretty good, sales guys. And fortunately, and I don't know if it was just being around them, but I was able to not all the pressure to be on me, for a while. And then it gave me a chance to like kind of hone my skill. I think it, takes reps, takes practice. But then I got to a point where it was the most fun part. Cause it was like and I've used this analogy before, but it's almost like just like a game. It's like, I'm not going to die, but I know that the chances are I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this game. And so I want to use all the tricks, the 80-80 up, down, whatever. And I want to try to make it as far as I can. I want to try to win this. And then the other game is like actually doing the work and delivering or whatever. And, so that's what it would be. So we would, do a pitch, and I was selling, like I was like selling everything about our company. It was like what design could do. I would talk about why we started our company, why we're different. And it was like the whole thing was to just get you to like move forward with us. You can always fire us. But it just got fun to where I would be like, we got to the next step. And, that was like just majorly different, because I do remember a time when I didn't like it at all. I mean, I've actually shit the bed is the term they use, which I think is like the worst term, but that's how I felt. We went up to Chicago, and it was like, it was a giant client. I won't say who they were, but they're like one of the biggest, companies in the world. We'll just say in the commercial real estate, area. There's only a few. And so we're with these dudes. So we fly up there. The two guys I was with, they actually we met at the airport in Dallas, and they were already wearing suits. And I was like, you're going to take the flight in your suit? And our meeting is at this time. And I was like, am I the idiot here? And we got there with enough time, but we didn't have rooms or anything. I had to go change into a suit in a shitty New York bathroom. I was like, please nothing touch the ground. It was like steamy in there. I was like, I would have rather been on the plane in a suit. So anyway, what was really funny is, so we go to meet with these guys, and they're really cool, like nothing to really intimidate you, but they were dressed so well. Like as a designer, when someone's dressed well, like, somebody puts a suit on, nobody cares. Somebody knows how to wear a suit, and it's badass, and they're like coordinated well, and they just fucking look great. And you're like, you know what the fuck you're doing. And for some reason that leveled up the intimidation for me, is because these guys were like top level execs, and they knew how to dress. So I don't know. I guess I felt like I couldn't bullshit them. Not that I was planning on it, but I don't know what it was. So we start the pitch and we're just pretty all, you know, we're all casual and laid back. And a lot of the guys are just really cool. And, you know, then there's this one guy and he's like head of development or something. He was more of a developer role and he wasn't all that fun to talk to. But then he looks directly at me and he goes, all right. And exactly what value are you going to be adding to this team? I was like, oh, well, I mean, I was getting used to selling pretty easily. And so I start off with like, oh yeah, well, you know, so I'm the head of blah, 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 blah. But then I started listening to myself. And as I started listening to myself, it fucked me up and I got fucking nervous. And then I could just hear myself start to ramble and my head got worse. And I finally just stopped and I said, I'm sorry, guys, a little nervous today, but, and the funny thing is, like, as soon as I said that, it was like an icebreaker for myself. And one of the guys that was a really cool dude, younger guy, dressed impeccably, he was like, oh, dude, all good, man. You don't have to be nervous, man. You guys are awesome. We just want to, like, you know, we're just meeting on how we're going to do this thing. And, you know, he was like there to like, he was a nice guy. But
He was the hype man.
well, he was the hype man. And he also, I think, I've seen it where people are in uncomfortable situations and I'm just like, dude, you're good. You don't need to be uncomfortable. I mean, whether I like you or not, I don't want you to feel this way. Dude, let's just talk. We're going to figure it out. And I was that guy, like fucking shitting my pants. But after I did that, then I like took a breath and I was like, bang, fucking nailed it. But it was like one of the worst feelings ever. And one of the guys I was with after the meeting, he even called me out. I was like, dude, what was that? He was like, you're like the most talkative guy I know. I was like, I don't know, dude. Fucking just got nervous. But I mean, and that may have been a turning point for me too, to say like, I got to get at least my talking points. Cause it's not like you have to have shit memorized. In fact, that's the worst way to sell, is like have a page or some shit. But at least I need to know, like, if I'm talking and I come to a stopping point, either I let them talk, or if I still need to, I need to know like other points that I can jump to and not just come to this like brick wall and just sound like an idiot.
You just made me remember what I think actually was my turning point. I was in San Francisco and I got asked to talk at the launch conference.
Oh yeah,
which I think I might have brought up here.
You mentioned it,
but that was the first time I had talked in front of that many people. And I'd never been more scared.
I was nervous for you, actually.
And it was when I realized, I was like, I just gotta do something for now that I have kids.
Right.
What will make my kids proud? It's like everything changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll go into any meeting. I don't really care. Like I'll make a fool of myself. I do it all the time with my kids. It's like, but my job here is just to like sell the thing, let you know how we do it, and tell you how awesome it's going to be, and let's have a good time.
Yeah, and you believe
like
it.
I totally, because that's how I work. I don't work in a shitty environment or like work with shitty people, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now if you were shitty people. So let's fucking do cool shit.
Yeah,
like, so I don't know. It's like the second that like, I don't know,
mental shift.
I don't know if it's it's totally mental. It's like it's not pressure. It's like embarrassment. It's like just stress. I don't know what it is, but like the second that you can just like let go of it and go, that one didn't work.
Yeah.
Do the next one.
Well, the other thing,
that's what I was talking about with the door-to-door salesman thing.
Right.
It's like once you can get into that, or like you're a fucking telecom person and like someone hangs up on you enough times that like you're like, cool, I can go sell or pitch anything now.
Yeah.
Because 100 people are going to say no. One person's going to say yes. And that's how I make money.
And then you also start you learn what gets more no's and yeses, and you start to hone that, and you start to figure out the hooks, and you can start to tell when people are intrigued or if they're just like, don't care from the beginning. I've wrapped some meetings up really quick where I'm like, either I know it's not a good fit, or I know that they're not going to hire us because they've already, like, there's already some guy on the team that like doesn't want to hire us or whatever. One thing that you reminded me of though, a little, not exactly selling, but just even like meeting with clients, you kind of talked to, you said like, I don't mind sounding like an idiot. I've actually given the advice a lot of times where, people are afraid to express some people are afraid to express their opinions, like, especially if you're like showing some stuff and, they want to sound smart or whatever. Everybody wants to fucking sound smart, or you want people to think you're smart, I guess, at least. But one of the things I've used a lot and, I've given advice on is just like, leading with like, this may be a stupid idea, but because then you've literally just told them like, this may be a stupid idea. So they don't have anything. They can't say like, that's a stupid idea. Or if they do, you go, yeah, that's literally what I just said, but I want to get it out because that's part of the process. And I did that. I don't know if I told this story before, but I did that because I was in a meeting with Anthony at our previous company with some big time Amazon execs. And they were walking us through this project. We had already sold the project and they're walking through it. And I'm like writing down notes and then they just lose me entirely. I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about at this point, but I didn't have at that time. I didn't have that technique and I didn't want to say, I just felt like they were paying us more than we had ever been paid. Like I'm supposed to be super smart. That's why they hired us.
And they want to look stupid.
They want to look stupid. And then, I got this from Anthony. We're literally both sitting there and I thought I was like the only one. And he literally says like, guys, I'm sorry. He was like, I have no idea what we're talking about, which is exactly the way I felt, but I didn't feel like I could say it. And then their VP of experience, I think was his title, this guy, I've actually maintained a relationship with him. He was like, oh, guys, that's fine. Let me back up. Yeah, you guys are having to absorb a lot, literally what we've been working on for 6 months. So don't be afraid to like chime in if you don't understand something. What I was about to have to do was spend my whole weekend trying to decipher these cryptic notes I was taking. But because Anthony wasn't worried about saying he had no idea what we were talking about, we literally figured it out, went and had a happy hour, and freaking enjoyed our weekends and started work Monday. Made life better.
No, I think that's what it is, right? It's willing to just be the idiot, be the jester, like and being okay with it, right? Like for me, I think, or maybe it's like a safe word thing or something. Like yours was like an icebreaker. A lot of times I'll just say fuck in some form or faction.
I feel like that might be an icebreaker too. It's odd.
Well, I don't just walk in the room and go fuck.
Okay.
Literally, it's more just like no.
That's what I had in my head. You're just You come into the meeting, everybody's like sitting there, and you just go fuck. I was like,
no, it'll be like, all right, well, this thing's gonna be fucking awesome. Y'all ready to get started?
I'll do that too, but
like that.
So this is totally. Times have changed even in a short amount of time. We've been designers a lot, but I'm not even sure it'll go over well here, but I literally one time, maybe more than once, there was we were talking about the presenting and, man, this is awful, but I'm just going to say it. So we're presenting the clients, like, he's actually like the kind of guy who wouldn't ever use that any type of language or whatever, but we had like a good rapport and I guess it was one of the designers showing work and I could tell everybody was happy and we were all jazzed. And I was like, man, I got a freaking boner. and everybody laughed and nothing, it wasn't weird. It didn't get weird. Fortunately, what was amazing is like months later when we're showing, because we were probably just showing designs at that time, we show the actual work developed and functional. And that same client, who I don't think even would say shit, he literally said like, man, I've got a boner. And I was like, yes.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever said boner in a meeting. I've cussed a lot.
I won't now. Now I think it's weird.
It's a new goal for me.
I don't know if it's times have changed or maybe I just realized that I probably shouldn't like throw that around too much.
Hey, we'll like it.
We'll see what happens. I'll keep us posted if I end up having to use that again. But
yeah, it would be like our boner meter. How what was this? How was this episode?
This is awful. Like we need to move on.
I was thinking of something else, and I now I forgot. But there was like a movie or something that was about design, or that's what I was thinking of. We're talking about sales. I think it should be like homework of anybody to watch Wolf of Wall Street. I think designers.
Oh yeah, I see where you're going.
Should, because I think that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, it's a numbers game.
That was a good transition, actually.
Have confidence in the thing that you're talking about, and you just talk like you do it every day. You talk to people all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing different.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's like, you honestly should just go into a conference room or something with one of your cohorts, or get on a Zoom call, or however you meet and however you can meet, and just talk about the thing you're going to be talking about, because that's reps too. That's like getting practice just talking about design. I had one guy that was a brilliant designer. Brilliant might be strong. He was a really good designer. I don't want to overuse that word. He was a really good designer.
Oh, wow. You just like took him down.
I know.
That was just mean.
I think you're great. I hope if you know whatever, you know who you are. You're great. But he,
you know who you are when I don't think you're that great. But
hey, I just don't want to overuse that. Okay. So I want to save it to whenever I'm like, dude,
when you're talking
brilliant.
about me.
I just don't want to say brilliant all the time.
Got it.
Yeah, this is about you, Ray.
Yeah.
Damn it, where was I going?
Sorry, I totally fucked you there. With your brilliance.
We were just talking about, this sucks.
Selling Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He had a designer that sucked.
Well, he sucked at selling. I don't know where I was going with that now. We're just...
So another movie, just because my entire brain works in movie quotes, is
maybe I'll remember.
Boiler Room.
What was it called?
Boiler Room.
Oh, yeah. Another.
Where
You're pulling out all these movies
where he's
that
like,
the youngsters
dude,
are
where
going
he's
to have
like,
to go back
totally,
to some DVDs.
Speaking of that, well, hold on, let me finish this first, and then we'll come to that. So there's a scene in there where the guy's learning how to like sell stocks and stuff, and he's like, look, when you're on the phone with somebody, either you sell them or they sell you on the reason why they can't do it.
Oh, right.
And so it's like a competition. It's like either they sell you or you sell them, right? Are you going to win or not? And what's funny about what you said after that is, so I have a new designer who's younger, and I'll be making like random movie quotes, and I'll be doing like whatever, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I literally, like, there was like a new meme that had Thundercats in it, and it was like finally like memes or like stuff that I was like interested in. And she was like, I don't know what this is. So we started making a list of movies that she has to watch. Like, she has homework of movies to watch, so she can actually understand all the shit that's going to come out of my mouth.
I think we need to do a spreadsheet and make it a publicly visible spreadsheet, because I've actually done this in the past too. Because there's some movies I just think are like, they're not Oscar winners, but they're important from a cultural standpoint. You need to watch
100%. 100%. Most of them are not award winners that I feel like are. You know,
I hadn't thought about that enough, but yeah, I could probably get behind that.
No.
Okay.
And my problem is I've seen them so many times that I quote them like all the time, and then people don't know it because it wasn't a popular movie.
I'm not a good quoter of movies, or a good rememberer of like special quotes. Like, there'll be movies that I love. There are a few that I do that with, but a lot of people really remember those quotes and throw them around. I'll be like, haha, yeah.
So me and my buddy Chris, who you know, we used to do this thing growing up, because we were the same. Like, we'd watch one movie 100 times, and so we'd done that so many times that like we'd hear a song and we'd be like, "What movie is that from?" And so for a longest time, like, I want to make a game where it's like it just starts playing a song, and it's like do 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 do, and you're like, and then it like gives you like four options of movies, and you're like, that one, and then it'll show you that clip from the scene where that song was being played in the movie.
I feel like there might be something there.
I think it would be awesome. Yeah. And I think there's probably something with entertainment copyrights where if like you only show like a 10 seconds of a clip that you could get away with it. But
that's what I think.
Don't know, maybe.
I think you're right.
I'd have to look into the entertainment law.
Somebody shoot us an email. Let us know if we're idiots. We can share a short clip.
Well, we are idiots. We don't need an email for that.
Hey, man.
But
speak for yourself.
I'm an idiot. 100%. Anyway. So I'm just gonna keep it going. There was another show. This is what pisses me off, and Mad Men's probably the only one ever that stuck around. Anytime there is a show about designers or about like creative directors or whatever, it always gets canceled. And I always get so excited.
I didn't know there were a bunch of shows about
I was like,
designers.
Finally, there's something that I feel like this is it. There was one with the guy from Dharma and Greg. It was a show. It was like on for.
I remember hearing about that. I don't know anything about it though.
It was on for one season, and the whole point of it was he was trying to become the creative director of this agency, and he was up for the job, and it was going to change his life because he had kids and all. Like it was.
Guess he didn't get the
this
job.
Whole thing. Well, he gets the job, but then the season gets canceled, so you have no idea what happens to it. So it's just like, it's just stuff like that. I'm always like, why isn't there cool designer shows?
I have thought about if you could do like a top designer show for like, product designers, but it's not quick enough.
I don't want to. I know it's like that's what's cool.
No, it's not that I actually know how much. I don't know that I strongly want that. I've just thought about if it would be possible, and it seems difficult.
So there was a badass show, and I forget what it was, but it was actually on like major TV, where it was like ad agencies would like Subway. I remember there was an episode where it was like Subway came in, and they were like, "Okay, you three agencies get to pitch."
That's interesting.
Subway. When they were all small agencies, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole idea was like, small agencies were going to get this big whale client. And they competed and they watched them all go through. They were like, here's what we're trying to do. We want to do something for the Olympics and it's going to be cool, but it's all about Subway and sandwiches and blah, blah, blah. And then they'd all three see like what they'd come up with. And then they'd present it like a Shark Tank type thing. And then they'd pick one and then they'd show the commercial and show all the stuff at the end, right, that they finally did. And it was awesome. But I can't tell you the name of it, and it only lasted for one season. But I thought it was awesome.
It does sound kind of cool. It's like, again, it's like that.
But it wasn't
advertising though versus, I don't know. Maybe you could align that with like pitching a product. Nah,
there was what's his name? Tim Draper. He's got like a startup, like a YC type of a startup incubator.
I don't know who that is.
He's like a
venture capitalist.
Draper Academy or Draper something. It was like a show. Again, it was on for one season, but it was about building products and how to pitch your idea to get investment and, all the steps of building a product. It was really cool, and it didn't last. It's like everything that I'm interested in. If I'm interested in it, I shouldn't even get interested in it because it's gonna fucking die. So.
Oh no.
Anyway,
I've lived that life. I've back when you would get DVD sets of your favorite show or whatever. I've gotten a few of those. That was like, it was like a cliffhanger at the end of it. And I was like, oh, cool. I got this. I can't wait till the next season. And then you don't even hear of it. Like, it's not even that it's been canceled. It's just silence. It's like, okay, cool. Well, hey dude, let's talk about one more thing before we wrap. Big design news, I guess. The Figma store. They've come out with apparel. You can buy, let's see, what all can you buy? I know you can buy shirts, comment notebooks, the logo hat. I think that's what's interesting is, and actually I have a Figma pen that I got at some show, and it's actually really well designed is the only reason I kept it, because I would have given it away. But it's kind of interesting. I think you have to, this is what I wanted. I wanted people to want to buy our company shit back when I was running the consultancy. But I always thought that seemed like a challenge. Now Figma's a product and people are pretty passionate about it, but it's kind of interesting to have a swag store that people want to buy your swag that has the name of your tool that they also have to pay for. It's interesting.
It is. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, especially with something that's in the design realm, like
it's kind of your calling card, right? Or not. I don't know if that's the right word. It's like, hey, I'm a designer.
Yeah, it's a calling card. I think is a good thing. Like it's like a way to showcase like instantly what it is you do.
Yeah.
Or what it is you're interested in.
And they may have just got me with the they have some socks with the cursor pin tool on it. I'm kind
Is that
of
what that
into
is?
What?
I see a chat bubble.
Are we looking at the same socks? Are you telling me? Does it say white pin tool
Oh,
socks?
I see it. Black arrow socks. I see it. Okay.
Black Arrow socks. We're looking at like, hang on.
Oh, there's a pin tool socks. All right, there's a bunch of socks.
Oh, I see. I see the chat tool. Okay, cool. I was so confused. What I will say, old Figma, is that I mentioned this right before the show, and then I went to figma.com/store. That's different. Wait, store.figma? Hold up. Maybe I thought I was about to shit on them, but maybe it redirected. But hang on.
Okay. I want to shit on it, but I was about to shit on it.
No, wait, this is supposed to be one of our future sponsors.
Oh,
never mind.
No, but hold on. I think that as a designer, and I'm sure they have amazing designers there, that I want to wear something that's like bold and in your face, not like a embroidered polo with a logo on the corporate nipple. Shirt. And like that's what they kind of feel like. They're so clean and minimal that they feel like, I don't know, like it's less designy. But then one thing that's interesting is there's a little badge on there with the hand, and they're giving 100% of all their profits to charities and like planting trees and doing all this stuff all over the world, which now I'm like, okay, I'll fucking buy one. You know what I mean? Which
that is big floating badge that I kept looking right past. That's dope.
Yeah. If I wouldn't have rolled over it and the other hand actually showed up, I would have completely not seen that at all, because everything else is so bold and bright on the website. The website's nice. I will say that.
Yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I want more. I like the Figma t-shirt with just like their logo name on the front, just because the only thing that literally is big and has color. Everything else just feels so small.
Here's what I can't figure out. I've got two different browsers open. Oh wait, so if you go to store.figma.com, okay, I was right. That's where I am. Hold on. So if you go to figma.store, it's like for UI kits, landing pages, icons, that kind of stuff. And I was like, where's the shit? And up at the very top, they've got this little link that says Figma Store, which kind of awkward because I'm at figma.store. And if you click that, then it takes you to their swag store. That's fine. They wanted to rush it out the door. I get it. I think they need to work on that.
When I click Figma Store at the top of figma.store, it just refreshes the page.
Well, your shit's... Oh, if you click the link... Hold on. Am I full of shit? You're right.
You're a damn liar.
I know.
Anyway, their site's great. I think like the way that the rollovers and stuff on this site are done, it's done really well. I would just hope and want more from actual.
You just want more updated
to want to buy
beefy
it.
Swag. So, dude, do you remember the old days of swag? Like everything was like a double XL shirt or a triple XL shirt or whatever. Like you go to like a conference or whatever, and whether it was a double XL or whatever, they just do like the most generic shit, and you'd be like, cool, I wanted some swag, but like I don't wear a triple XL or whatever. And but now I have this shirt. It used to be like that forever, and I feel like most companies still aren't quite hitting it. Design companies, I feel like, should, but and I think there's an opportunity there. Maybe there's already a company that does it, helps you do design swag, but it's like where you get it like printed and everything. Because also you'll get like a cool design, but it's printed on a fucking beefy tee or something.
So we before we got too busy, like we put a lot of emphasis, our design team, on doing cool swag, and it's really paid off. I think you guys did too.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's almost like more prideful.
Yeah, Yeah.
that your company wants to wear the stuff that you made, even more than the products that you made, and like clients use it and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to tell people this is where I work.
Well, and how cool is that? Imagine like, I mean, so I was usually pushing it at my previous company, which I'm sure you are too, because I wanted people to want to wear it. So like people were proud enough, and also like you and I are big culture dudes, and so like we both have like pretty cool places that, pretty cool cultures or whatever, and like the only thing that ever bugged me was that I'm not the only person that are making decisions, and I realize I'm not the right guy to like be creating the budget for the whole company. But the value I put into creating swag, like the value I put into like the budget, if it were me creating the budget, I guess what I'm saying is I would have created a much bigger budget. Because if you got the whole fucking company and they all want to wear your company's logo, like multiple things, like I don't care what it is, like shirts, hats, whatever. I want to make sure that's available because I want you promoting the shit out of your company, which is also my company. So I don't know.
We just used, like, obviously we got busy, you know, like doing work and didn't have a ton of time to do swag this round. So we did a lot of searching around for swag companies, and we found a company called Swag Up, which I think is out of the swag companies, probably the best one. I think there's, to your point, I think there's still a lot of room to do something like extra cool, right? But they did a really good job. Like we actually some people just started getting stuff today, packages today for all of their things, like sweatshirts and like all like socks and, you know, beanies and like all that kind of stuff.
That's the other thing.
So
I want there to also be the ability to have like a dope ass swag kit right when you start. I know like other companies in the Valley, like, you know, Dropbox or whatever, they've been doing this forever. I've never had the ability. We would do small ones. It's like what I could scrape together. I could do stickers because they were so cheap. But like, I would love to have like this nice little box. Doesn't need to be expensive. It can still be cardboard or whatever, but like nice. It'd be nice if we could even get them printed. And then you just like open it up and there's your fucking Yeti, not the off-brand bullshit. There's a fucking shirt that's made with like fucking, you know, tri poly blend cotton or whatever that feels good. And it's got your stickers. It's got the pin. Just basically has everything you need to have this like in your, you know, in your life now. I don't know if that makes sense. Swag Up. Sweet.
They literally did exactly that. Like the box had our logos on it.
Oh, dude, another sponsor.
And we sent that to our new hires, and like we'll try to do like a seasonal gift box for everybody, for old employees, the old timers.
Well, yeah, because if you totally missed out just because you've been here longer, that's a bummer.
Yeah, but one thing that I still think, and like I tell this with my company too, it's like it's totally fine to do that. Like here's your box of cool stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But to me, it's still not enough, and I think you feel the same way. I want to do something that I made special for you. Not something that we sent to a company. We gave them the logo, they threw some stuff, and
right.
Do
you mean as an individual or like your team versus what you send out to other people?
Both. I as the head of design experience, whatever, like my role is, I personally want everyone in the company to know, like, I made this, and my team, we worked together, and we made this thing special for you.
For you as an individual. Here's what I'm trying to get at.
Sometimes individually.
Okay.
Sometimes, yes. Like we've done that with like custom Zoom backgrounds, and like you tell us the things you like and your interest, and we'll literally take time out of our day to make something for you. Uh-huh. But what I'm referring to right now is something that's outside of the Yeti, the backpack, the sweater, the whatever. Something that's creative, right? Like I wanna do like I don't know, some kind of like badass hand artist painted Air Force Ones with our brand on it.
All right.
For everybody.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like
there.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like where it's special. Like there is no other company that's going to use Swag Up or any of the other swag companies that's on the list of things that they can just mass produce and send out to people.
Right.
This is something that like had to be specially done, and it was specially done for our company. you know, and it was like we took the time to figure out how to do it, to find the people. Maybe we did it ourselves, like,
So,
you know what I mean? And like we care enough to do that.
I think I had an idea that was kind of down that path. So as the years continued to go, we started to have, we started having people that have been there like, 3 years, 5 years, like 6, maybe 7. Obviously. And what I wanted to do is start creating like, it's kind of like the old school, like Rolex watch, like, oh, you've been here this long, you get a Rolex or whatever. But we weren't going to do that, obviously. But I also didn't want it to just be some normal bullshit. So I actually looked at getting, and I found this black axe. It was all black. It was like murdered out axe. And that's the kind of company we were. We were like, just like ninja stars, nunchucks, that kind of bullshit, like made us happy. So I found this black axe, and I found a company that would transcribe, or that would like laser etch a thing on it. And I never made it actually happen. I'm disappointed, but I basically wrote out this like sort of like triumphant, sort of like, epic eulogy type thing that I wanted to get transcribed on it. For this one guy's like, I don't know, it was like 8th or 9th year or something like that. But I never made it happen. But I still think that's kind of like that, right? It's totally custom.
Totally.
I had to personally write the thing and try to think of like clever things that everybody knew about him or that had happened, in his life while he was with the company. But yeah, no, I'm into that kind of stuff. The personal, very personal stuff. I don't though, think, again, we always talk about like your company's slightly smaller and I was at this giant company. So the scalability of doing custom stuff for everyone coming in the door is difficult. It may sound shitty, but there might be like some like executives that if they were like coming in as an executive, maybe something like that, which sounds like, oh, just for the executives, huh? Right. Well,
no, we actually had that conversation, and we kind of have come to the same conclusion that you just brought up, where there'll be like these tiers, where it's like you've been here 2 years, been here 3 years, been here 5 years, been here 10 years, whatever. And that's kind of like what we're looking at right now, is like doing badass one-off things for that group of people at a time, like 3 or 4, not like 50 or 100, because our company is getting a lot bigger, and we're at that point where we can't do that for everybody. So, which is why it was perfect to find like a swag up, because the quality was still cool. Like you could tell they have design sense, and it wasn't just like a random print shop down the road. Like they actually care about design. And that's cool. They have some cool products too that they actually work with that are different than all the rest of them. But yeah, it is my mission to do something special. I feel like as a designer, you never want to do what everybody else does, and I push really
kind of
hard
getting
for
back
that,
to the original point. Like, this is stuff that, obviously as a company, you don't have to give your team, swag and shit, but stupid not to. But then beyond just giving them the typical like bullshit, like the one shirt with the logo on it, it's like, man, yeah, how much cooler would it be, or how much more special would you make someone feel, like with something unique or whatever? And then when like they see it, or like it's so unique they keep it, then when they see it, they think about like the fucking all the memories and shit, and where people ask about them, you're like, this is my badass company.
So what's interesting, because we send this to clients and stuff too. I'm sure you guys probably did that as well. But
yeah, and that's one thing I always wanted ours to be different for like team members versus clients.
Well, so here's what we had it was at least a week, it might have been 2-week conversation.
Important stuff
about this with the executive team. And what we were falling on was like, this isn't about like them seeing a shirt with our logo. What this is about is, can we insert our brand into their everyday life? Right? Meaning like, what if I like had because we mocked up some crazy stuff, right? Like with like people with like roller skates and like skateboards and like stuff that like has nothing to do with like stuff that we're working on. And like, but it was like cool in 80s and like badass graphics and stuff. And it's just like a little logo of our company. Right. And the whole idea was like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
Like, you want to wear this. You
Dude,
want this 60-year-old like executive, even if they don't wear it and that's not their style, they're gonna give it to their kid, and their kid's gonna.
The funny thing is,
all the time.
I was gonna avoid going down this path because I didn't want to get because this is exactly like I have a like 2 decks that are basically like what do you call them when like a new a season campaign for a fashion line or whatever. It's basically that's what I used to tell everybody. So I designed our whole office, like, the brand, all the swag, whatever. But the goal was far more than what I was able to do. But I would tell people, like, literally, like, I want it to feel like a lifestyle company. I don't want it to feel like a fucking tech company. Because, I don't know if it's this way anymore, but there was a period of time where it was like all the tech companies had like gray, blue, and orange or whatever.
Yeah, and it was just logo.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And I wanted it to, I would always say, like, yeah, we're a fucking consulting agency but I want people to want to wear our shit. And one of the things that got me feeling like that early on was when I went to South by Southwest in like 05 or 06, and Google was giving out shirts. And I was like, everybody was like trying to get a freaking shirt. And so in my head, I was like, everybody really wants this shirt of this new search engine. I was like, that's dope. Like, obviously Google's much different to the world now than it was back then. But that's the way I want us to feel. And I don't never think that was necessarily possible, but I wanted to go for it and make stuff that, just like you said, your whole point, I just want to make something that was so cool that you just want to wear it. And it just happens to also be my company swag.
Yeah. I mean, and that's literally what we do. Like, we manipulate our logo, we make it like drip. We like put, like, I've worn them on here too, where there's like little lightning going around it and stuff. Like we're not trying to stick a logo on anything. But anyway, I think swag is extremely important. I think it's the whole unboxing piece of it. It's like, even right now, like, we just got some boxes, and on Slack right now, a bunch of people are putting all of it on, like Joey from Friends, and like putting all of it on because they just got like a box of all this crap.
It's the T-shirt with pictures. The hoodie, with the glasses, with the hat,
with the hat, everything all at once, and everyone's posting pictures of them all doing that.
Dope.
So
right.
So that makes me feel good when we like make things that people want to
totally
not even just put on and wear out, but they want to like, look, I got this thing, I'm so excited.
Like murdered out with your brand. Yeah,
totally. But it's like, but we're not even asking them to. They just want to.
Yeah.
And like that's the goal. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. No, I think that's important stuff. But, well, dude, interesting show. We'll see what people think. We kind of all over the place, and good job, Figma, and getting your clothing shop up. There's a little work to do getting there, but also props to giving that all away. Not giving it all away, but donating 100% of the profits.
Did you see what happens if you don't do anything and you just sit there?
That's
kind of
cool. Starts getting stickers posted on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love it.
All right, everybody, go check that out.
I want to steal that.
Check that out. And if you like using Figma, buy some swag knowing that the profits are all donated. Maybe go check it out and make sure you agree with what they're donating. And
tell them we love them, not that we shit on them.
Exactly.
Sponsor us.
Actually, I have been loving it, but we don't need to get into it. All right, everyone. I'm Stephen Ray.
Ray Hernandez.
You guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time. Oh, wait. Before that, though, hit the subscribe, leave us a review, all the good stuff.
Tell us what movies you watch your TV shows that have anything to do with art or design.
I love it.
That's what I want to know.
All right. Love you guys. Deuces.